programming of WSKB is provided by Westfield Bank. For more than 160 years, Westfield Bank has been an important community presence and commercial leader in the Pioneer Valley, with convenient full banking services in Westfield, West Springfield, East Longmeadow, Agawam, Feeding Hills, Springfield, Southwick, as well as Enfield and Granby, Connecticut. Visit us on the web at westfieldbank.org.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:01. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses and WCPC cable channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I'm in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board, producer Pete Coles. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning. So they tell me.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, it's it's that time of year. So, how was your Thanksgiving? Let's start there. Was it good?
Good. Yeah. I went over to my brother's house, and my sister-in-law was just kind of like the two youngest boys, and us and Mom. So
now, how old are the youngest boys? Like what age?
They're both in high school.
Oh, okay.
So right. Her youngest and my brother's youngest.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was just kind of like she bought two chickens.
Yeah. I knew
a lot of people
I was
do
trying
chickens.
to remember who told me they were doing chicken, not turkey, because, poultry's poultry.
Poultry's
you got to
poultry,
agree, right? I was like, who told me that they were doing that? I couldn't remember. It was you. That's
yeah, because they weren't cooking for an army of people.
Yeah, exactly.
And honestly, it was like, turkey, whatever.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I get it.
It's kind of like, yeah.
It's just a time to get together.
Right. It was more about just hanging out for the afternoon.
Yeah.
Watching football, hanging out. And I was, for some reason, was it that day? I just wanted to watch football, and I went over there, and I was supposed to go over around 12, and they're going to watch some movie that I think I'd already seen, or Spider-Man 3 or whatever.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right, I'll time it so I'll get there at the end of the movie so I can watch football.
Right.
I get there, they had just started the movie. And I'm like, we got a late start, and I was like, I really don't want to watch this movie.
Yeah.
Like, I came here to watch football and just hang out.
Yep.
So then when it came to they wanted to play Cards Against Humanity or something, I was like, I just want to watch football. Mm-hmm. I ended up passing out.
Oh.
I was exhausted. I was like just unwinding. You know what I mean?
I do.
When you finally start to unwind, you just like...
yeah, like you can't move.
Right. And then so Friday, I was supposed to go to my brother's and help with some computer stuff, and I just literally just didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I even, partially by mistake, I left my phones in the other room. Mm-hmm. My girlfriend was all worried about me. I was like, I just completely unplugged on Friday.
I know.
For most of the day, I didn't do anything. I found a TV series that I binge watched about this woman who involves her family in renovating old hotel and motel properties.
Okay.
And she did one where she lives out in California, but she's from the Berkshires.
Wow.
So the second season is she renovates a property called The Springs in New Ashford.
Okay.
In just above Pittsfield.
Okay.
And I'm like,
I
think I've driven by it. I know where that hotel is.
Oh my gosh, right? Road trip, Pete.
And I do. I want to take a drive out there.
I would definitely. I'd be like, okay, we got to go see this place for real.
Right. And so she does
so
a couple of projects a year during every season with her family. So, but it's not about the properties. It's like American Chopper was. It's a story about the family.
Okay.
That's what the show's really about.
Do you remember the name of the show, Pete?
In the Works. It's on Discovery Plus. It's part of that Magnolia thing that
Yep.
It's part of that deal.
Okay.
Nice little show, like six episodes a season.
Yeah.
And you can binge watch it in a couple hours.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. So that's what you did on Friday. That was
Yes.
that was your show to watch.
Yes.
Had you heard about it, Peter? Or did you just kind of discover it?
Stumbled on it.
You just stumbled on it. Yeah.
I was like, this is a suggestion for you. I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just I love that family storytelling thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Super interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just fun.
Oh, that's great.
It's entertaining.
Yeah. Now, were you down here at all Saturday for tree lighting or any of that?
Yeah, Kenny and I did the tree lighting.
You did.
Kenny was the prior guy, but I went down there early to help Jay set up. Thank God, because he couldn't get the lights to come on the stage.
Uh-oh.
You know, the big candelabra
Yeah,
lights.
yeah.
So I ran back here and got a panel light to
Oh, my
one of the big
goodness.
panel lights up there
Yeah.
to light up the stage, because Jay was going, I don't have my light gear with me. I just brought the sound stuff because
Yeah.
that's all I thought I was doing.
That's those were my instructions.
And it was so cold that it was
Oh,
below
Saturday, because
freezing.
it was so windy.
well, and the air temperature was below freezing.
Yeah. Right.
So the mayor was like, no speeches. He literally,
Good.
the choir sang, the band played.
Yep.
He got up there and did no speeches today. Thank everybody for coming.
Yes.
You know, enjoy the holiday season. And 10, 9, 8.
Exactly. Let's light the tree. That was smart. Good.
Bob did
good
a quickie.
move.
Bob did a quickie speech, and we were out. So
Yeah. Oh, that excellent. Well, it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, I drove through this morning and all the lights are on and it looks really pretty.
Yep.
And I had actually driven through on Saturday night as well. So, yeah, it's really pretty.
I think that
Well,
was the fastest tree lighting I've ever been to.
it was because it was so windy out Saturday. It was just, and you know, that was during the day because I
When
was
the
at
sun
the
went
senior
down,
center.
forget it.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's what I was going to say. And then as the sun dropped, you know, the temp went down and the sun dropped, and you know, yeah, definitely chilly. So my Thanksgiving, Pete, was amazing. Probably
Yep.
one of the best Thanksgivings. Wait until you hear what ended up happening on my Thanksgiving. So
Oh,
we
boy.
it was just fabulous. We did meal delivery Thanksgiving morning.
Right.
So I have to
Yeah, I
shout
never
out.
made it over to Southwick. I was
have,
just exhausted.
I have to shout out to all of my volunteers. I want to do it by route. So I had Patrick and Mimi Berry. They had route 1. Gary Gorman and Barbara Martone had route number 2. Karen Casey from the Housing Authority and her friend Barbara Rogers had route number 3. Ray Rivera and his sons Matt and Adam had route number 4. Grace Gorman and her boyfriend Isaac Dandino had route 5. And Nick and John Najowski, Mary Lou's husband and son, had route number 6. And then Thomas Lubashevsky had route 7. And that was Washington House. So he lives there, and so he delivered all of our Washington House meals. Mary Lou was with me on Thanksgiving morning as sort of helping to, you know, facilitate and coordinate. It went like clockwork. I mean, Joanne Boucher and George Sfakios had helped with meal preparation the day before, so they were all set. Rebecca Hart over at the food pantry and her team of volunteers had provided 100 of the meals for distribution. And then we had this amazing woman whose name I can't even tell you. Her daughter had called us about a month before Thanksgiving and said, my mother is in her 90s and she just moved to Virginia. During the pandemic, to keep herself busy, are you ready for this, Pete? She sewed 65, she called them lap quilts. And she sewed them and she wanted them to go to senior citizen. She was very specific about that. So she moves down to Virginia to live with another daughter. And the daughter up here said, okay, I will make sure that they get distributed to senior citizens. So of course she called us. So I'm thinking, okay, first of all, for me, like a lap quilt is small. You know, it's not that much bigger than this piece of paper. Because usually they're, you know, you're small, you put them on, you know, if you use a wheelchair or sit a lot. So, but my other problem, and we've sent a lot of things like that up to like the Soldiers Home, but you know, now with COVID, a lot of places aren't taking donations. So we kind of went back and forth with the daughter, and I finally said, okay, you know what? And we talked to our Sassy Stitchers, and again, we weren't sure what we were getting, but in the end, I said, you know what? Drop them off here. We'll figure it out. We'll get them distributed. Don't worry about it. Daughter drops them off about 3 weeks before Thanksgiving. I mean, Pete, they're gorgeous. They're these handmade quilts. I would not classify them as lap quilts. They weren't like full size, but they were a really good size. 65 of them.
Holy crap.
So, so I had Agnes Fleming, our activities, they'd bagged each one in a separate plastic bag. And I said, these are going out Thanksgiving morning. They're going to go out with our, with our stop. You're going to get a meal. You're going to get a quilt. So we did that. And then for those who were in senior housing, they got, we had another supply of gifts that came through the veterans, through Julie's office, through Veterans Services. So that was more household things, air freshener, trash bags. And then we threw toilet paper in there. And because the people in senior housing, the problem is our apartments are so small. You got to be careful about filling it up with too much stuff. So we thought this is all practical stuff. So everybody got a gift. Everybody got their meals. It was amazing. And people were sending us thank you notes. And oh my gosh, these quilts are gorgeous. And that was so unexpected. Of course it was. So that was great. We finished that. And then we went over to Grace's boyfriend, Isaac's house. And it was just Grace and Isaac and Gary and myself. And I had gotten a turkey breast from the butcher shop in West Springfield, but Grace took that over to Isaac's the day before. So I don't know what he marinated in. It was outstanding. It was so moist. It was so delicious. I got the gravy from the butcher shop. They do homemade gravy. I said, here, Isaac, if you want to do gravy, fine. If you don't, you got homemade gravy from the butcher shop. He and Grace made green bean casserole. I made a sweet potato casserole, mashed potatoes. Those guys had rolls and cranberry sauce. It was fabulous, right? So we went over, Pete, and This is like the first time in I don't know how long I watched an entire football game. I watched the whole football game from start to finish because Grace came in it was just about at halftime. We were watching the Dallas game. And Grace came in and she said, Isaac wants to know, would you like him to set the table in the kitchen and we can do like the regular whole thing? Or are you really comfortable here in the living room watching football? And we have TV tables and we're happy to do that. I looked at Gary and I said, I don't know about you, but I'm not moving out of this chair. It was so comfortable. It was a close game.
Yep.
I said, I'll let these two wait on me. Pete? It was fabulous. I said to Isaac that night, I said, you were off the charts with your points that you scored today between helping us out with deliveries and doing this meal. And then Grace did all the dishes. I just got waited on. It was fabulous. I would have called you, Pete. I didn't know. I mean, the football game, it was a great game. And that was the same thing. I said to Isaac, I haven't watched an entire football game start to finish without jumping up every, 2 seconds. Okay, I got to go throw laundry in the, machine and I got to move this into the dryer. Now I got to go wash the dishes. It was awesome. Best Thanksgiving. It was so relaxing. It was wonderful.
Is it nice just to chill out for a while?
It was really nice. And, and it was also nice. We really got to know Isaac better. The two of them have been dating for over a year now. But, and I said to Isaac, he's a veteran. He served in Afghanistan. He was in the Army Reserve for 10 years. And I said, I know he went to culinary school. I know he got an associate's degree in environmental science. He flips houses. I said, you've done all these things, but I didn't know the order of anything. So I said, Isaac, I need this in chronological order. So he said to me, where would you like me to start? I said, okay, let's start with high school graduation because he went to Westfield High School. His parents live in Westfield. I said, let's start with high school graduation. So what happened when? And it was just really nice. It was just nice to get to know him better and let him share his story. So
that's very cool.
Lovely, lovely Thanksgiving. Couldn't have asked for anything better.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. It is December 1st. Pete, I was driving over here looking at the thermometer going, it's 28 degrees. And I said to Mary Lou yesterday, when did we go from summer to winter? To me,
somebody shut off the light switch.
I don't know. It went in the blink of an eye. Even doing all the meals and everything, because I think we had a relatively warm fall.
Yeah, we had a mild fall.
Oh, right, we had a mild fall.
The Big E was pretty mild.
Yeah. And so, suddenly we're out there with earmuffs and mittens and so forth. But
it was
cold. Yeah, I know.
On Saturday.
All right, December 1st. It is December 1st. So our first famous birthday is Diane Lennon of the Lennon sisters. She was born on this date in 1939 in Los Angeles, California. She's 82 years old, and she's the oldest of the singing group, the Lennon sisters. The Lennon sisters are an American vocal group Initially made up of 4 sisters from a family that had 7 sisters and 5 brothers. There were 12 kids in this family. One of them died as an infant, but the other 11, yeah, big family. The original quartet of the Lennon sisters consisted of Diane, nicknamed Dee Dee, Peggy, Kathy, and Janet. The quartet made its television debut on the Lawrence Welk Show on Christmas Eve, 1955. But I love the story of how that happened. A high school classmate, Larry Welk, son of Lawrence Welk, brought them to the attention of his father. Lawrence Welk, was at home sick in bed when his son brought the sisters in to sing for him. Welk was so impressed that he immediately booked them for that week's show, where they were a mainstay until they left to start a career of their own in 1968. The quartet was a trio from 1960 to 1964 after Dee Dee married and left the group, but then she came back in 64, so she left just for a few years. For 13 years, the Lennon sisters, from 1955 to 1968, appeared regularly on the Lawrence Welk Show before having their own television variety show called Jimmy Durante Presents The Lennon Sisters with Jimmy Durante. After their show was canceled, they partnered with Andy Williams to create a successful Las Vegas residency, which lasted a decade. In 1999, younger sister Mimi replaced Peggy upon the latter's retirement, and Dee Dee has also since retired. The current lineup of the Lennon sisters is a trio consisting of Kathy, Janet, and Mimi. They continue to tour around the country and appear annually with their Christmas show at the Andy Williams Moon River Theater in Branson, Missouri. So happy birthday to the oldest of the Lennon sisters, Diane. And it is 6:16. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses and WCPC cable channel 15. We're going to take a short break and we'll listen to the Lennon sisters singing a song from The Sound of Music, my favorite things. We'll be back.
Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things. Cream-colored ponies and crisp apple strudels, doorbells and sleigh bells and schnitzel with noodles, wild geese that fly with the moon on their wings. These are a few of my favorite things. Girls in white dresses with blue satin sashes, snowflakes that stay on my nose and eyelashes, silver white winters that melt into springs. These are a few of my favorite things. When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad. Roses, kittens, kettles, mittens, la-dee-da-la-dee-da-la-dee-da-da. These are a few of my favorite things. When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and little by little my heavy heart sings, and then I don't feel so bad.
Underwriting for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield, serving the youth of the Whip City and surrounding communities since 1969. For more information on the Great Futures Club for ages 3 to 5, happening weekdays, and the Club Teen Center for ages 11 and older, weekdays from 6:30 till 8 p.m., go online at bcgwestfield.org or visit the club at 28 West Silver Street. The Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield. Great futures start here.
Listen to me, Michael Buster McMahon, Mondays 8 to 10 a.m. to learn the stories behind your favorite songs. Or don't. I'm not the boss of you.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 at 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:20. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses and WCPC Cable Channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I am your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I am in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board, Pete Coles. Good morning again, Pete.
Good morning.
So our guest second hour will be Dr. Gary Gorman. It's been a few months since Gary's been on the show. There have been other things going on and other guests to be had. But Gary's going to be on around 7:15 or so, and the topic today is transitions. You know, Gary said it is difficult, both, I think, physically as well as emotionally sometimes and psychologically to transition sort of from one season to another. So we're really, we were just talking about the
Kenny
fact that
Stomsky suffers from it every year.
Yeah, and we were just talking about the fact that it was a warmer fall, so all of a sudden we're in the throes of this cold,
body's not ready
windy,
for
yeah.
it.
And it's so there's a lot to and there are some ways that you can help yourself to adjust to that. So that's what Gary will be talking about this morning. He'll be joining us on the phone today. This is really interesting. It is the birthday, December 1st, of the late Lou Rawls, who was a singer, songwriter, producer, and actor. And, when I read this, I kind of said, oh, yeah, Lou Rawls. Okay, we'll do his birthday. I know, he's had some great songs. But then there was a whole lot of background to him, which I was really interested in. So he was born on this date in 1933 in Chicago. He died on January 6, 2006, at the age of 72. Lou Rawls began singing in the Greater Mount Olive Baptist Church Choir at the age of 7. He later sang with local groups through which he met Sam Cooke, who was nearly 3 years older than he was. In 1958, while touring the South with Sam Cooke, Lou Rawls was in a car crash. He was pronounced dead before arriving at the hospital, where he stayed in a coma for 5.5 days. He spent a year recuperating, and it was several months before his memory returned. He considered the crash a life-changing event. With Dick Clark as master of ceremonies, Lou Rawls was able to perform at the Hollywood Bowl in 1959. He released more than 60 albums, sold more than 40 million records, and had numerous charting singles, most notably his song, You'll Never Find Another Love Like Mine. He worked as a film, television, and voice actor. He was also a 3-time Grammy winner, all for Best Male R&B Vocal Performances. In 1980, Rawls began the Lou Rawls Parade of Stars Telethon, which benefits the United Negro College Fund. The annual event, known since 1998 as An Evening of Stars, a celebration of educational excellence, consists of stories of successful Black students who have benefited from and or graduated from one of the many historically Black colleges and universities who receive support from the United Negro College Fund, along with musical performances from various recording artists in support of Rawls' efforts. Lou Rawls' first acting credit was in the Western television series The Big Valley, starring Barbara Stanwyck. I know my seniors will remember that. Lee Majors and Linda Evans were all in that show, The Big Valley. He also appeared in Mannix and Fantasy Island. For many years, he was a spokesperson for the Colonial Penn Life Insurance Company. He has one of those deep voices that, just resonate.
Yep.
Lou Rawls lent his rich baritone to cartoons, including Hey Arnold, Garfield, Captain Planet and the Planeteers, and the Proud Family. He died of lung cancer at the age of 72. So happy birthday to the late Lou Rawls. All right. We'll do one more birthday, and then we'll switch to something else. It is the birthday of the late Mary Martin, actress, singer, dancer, born on this day in 1913 in Weatherford, Texas. She died in 1990 at the age of 76. After a short-lived marriage, at the age of 17, Mary Martin branched off into dance and then music. Martin was cast in Cole Porter's Leave It to Me, making her Broadway debut in November of 1938 in that production. She became popular on Broadway and received attention in the national media singing My Heart Belongs to Daddy. With that one song in the second act, she became a star overnight. A muse of Rodgers and Hammerstein, Mary Martin originated many leading roles on stage over her career, including Nellie Forbish in South Pacific, Peter Pan in Peter Pan, and Maria von Trapp in The Sound of Music. Although she appeared in 9 films between 1938 and 1943, she was generally passed over for the filmed version of the musical plays. So she did them on Broadway, but when they went into film and movies, she was not cast in those roles. She herself once explained that she did not enjoy making films because she did not have the connection with an audience that she had in live performances. A special Tony Award was presented to Mary Martin in 1948 while she appeared in the National Touring Company of Annie Get Your Gun, and she was given that special award for, quote, spreading theater to the rest of the country while the originals perform in New York. So she was willing to get out there and perform.
Okay.
In 1955 and 1956, Mary Martin received first a Tony Award for Peter Pan and then an Emmy for appearing in the same role on television. She also received Tonys for South Pacific and in 1959 for The Sound of Music. Mary Martin, for those of you who might remember this, was the mother of actor Larry Hagman, who played in the series. Yeah, did you not know that? It's fun.
I might have heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Larry Hagman, of course, played in Dallas and as J.R. Ewing. And I Dream of Jeannie in that television show. So happy birthday to the late Mary Martin. So, you know what? Let me do this first because Grace, my daughter Grace, sent me a text yesterday because she wanted me to announce this on the show today. Grace is really in tune with all of these warnings that come, like scams and warnings and so forth. So she said the latest one has to do with a phishing attempt. This one makes its way around every so often. It is a scam. And this was issued by the Westfield Police Department. It has to do with what looks like Department of Motor Vehicles saying, due to security upgrade on all our systems, we require you to validate your driver's license profile. Please update your information in the form below now. Failure to update your information may lead to the suspension of the license. And they give you this website. And of course, the website is dmv.reviews/status. And the only thing that's coming from DMV is going to say mass.gov. It's going to end with mass.gov. Otherwise, it's not official. That is a scam. It does make its way. It's like the IRS one, the DMV one. Periodically, It just makes its way. Delete it. Do not open it. Do not open up the attachment. Do not fill out any form. Do not provide any information. Please, 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 please. Okay. So, Voice of Experience newsletter, December issue is out. So we have all kinds of things happening during the month of December. First of all, this is not in the newsletter, but I do have to tell you, usually annually right after Thanksgiving, we get a shipment of poinsettias and cyclamen, which are cyclamen plants, at the Senior Center from the horticulture department here at Westfield Technical Academy. They arrived in all of their beauty on Monday after. We never know when we're going to get them. Nate Sperry always says to us, "Oh, do you want to sell, poinsettias for us?" And we always say yes because they go like hotcakes. But we never know exactly when we're getting them. Well, we got them on Monday afternoon, along with, at the same time that the Do Re Mi singers were coming in and the fitness people were coming in, and we were, short-staffed, and so it was a little crazy time. But anyway, we have poinsettias and cyclamen plants for sale at the Senior Center. They are literally selling like hotcakes. We have, I think, all the large poinsettias, which are huge. Those are $20 a piece. Those are gone, but they did say to us, if you need more, let us know. So Mary Lou already emailed them yesterday afternoon and said, okay, send more. The large ones are $20. The medium ones, which to me, it's more like, it's supposed to be small, medium, large. To me, it's like medium, large, extra giant large. I mean,
Yep.
even the small ones are beautiful, and they're not small. They're like medium. So the prices for the small ones, it's $6. I got to tell you, you will never find more beautiful poinsettias for this price anywhere. I don't care where you go. They're gorgeous, and they're not small. They're like this big.
Okay.
They have different colors. I grabbed one it's red and it's got like white specks too. They had a couple of those. They have pink, they have red, they have like ruby red, but then they've got a different shade of red. They have white. And then the medium ones this year, which they had not done in the past, but the medium ones have ferns in them. So it's like a centerpiece. They're absolutely gorgeous. Those are 15. So they go 6, 15, 20, and the cyclamens are 8. And you know what? People are stopping by. Julie Barnes stopped by yesterday. She said, oh, you know what? She was going to somebody's house for dinner, and she said, I wanted to take a little something. She said, I'm taking one of these. She goes, I'm going to buy one of these. It's a beautiful gift. So if you're interested, folks, they're at the senior center. You can just, they have their own wrapper too. So you can just pull up the wrapper, because poinsettias, you have to be careful when the weather's this cold. They need to be wrapped when you take them outside. Mm-hmm. All done for you. So, and we can order more. You know, Nate said they've got them. So, and I can also tell you from experience, they last forever. They last forever. These are like amazing. They're bionic poinsettia plants. I don't know how they grow them here. But anyway, so stop on by the senior center if you're looking for some plants, or as I said, they make a beautiful gift. We have, let's see, I'm excited about this month's Westfield Council on Aging Presents. We're doing Westfield Council on Aging Presents with a twist. So Harry Rock interviewed Steve Henderson, local actor Steve Henderson. And Steve did a show called, what's it called? Mabel and Jerry, Obstacles to the Altar.
Right.
This is part of a series that Steve has written and performed, this whole Mabel and Jerry thing. And Linda Slozak is his partner in crime on this. So, and this was part of a grant through the Westfield Cultural Council. So I absolutely want to thank the Cultural Council for the grant money. When Steve originally did the grant, which was pre-COVID, we had written it up to do a senior theater, and then everything had to get changed. So what transpired is this performance that Steve did. It will be aired on Channel 15 on Tuesdays during the month of December. At 2:45. So Harry interviewed Steve to talk a little bit about senior theater and the benefits of it and the therapeutic value of that, a little bit about the show, and then followed by the actual performance, which Steve and Linda did. So it's kind of a educational, fun entertainment all wrapped up in one. So we're excited about that. Our Channel 15 December performance is Dave Colucci, which I understand is going to be quite the performance and ordeal with costume changes and so forth. Is that understanding, Pete?
Yeah. Well, here's part of it. Part of it got, because it dropped off my calendar somehow.
Yeah.
And I don't know when it synced or whatever. It dropped off from my phone. But I'm finishing something with John Vilas, which we're doing with Agawam and Southwick, which is debuting this month as well.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, this guy's waiting. Are you Peter? Like, I never talked to him. I talk to everybody on the phone to kind of get.
Yeah.
So
but it was planned, because I remember seeing the emails. I had it on my calendar. I'm like, oh, yeah, Dave's going to do the taping today, the 29th.
Right. So I was just like, I had something else to do in the afternoon. And I'm like, well, that's not going to happen. And I was I was grumpy for a while, and then we got it done. And, but
well, he said
it just was kind of like,
yeah,
we do a good job.
Dave said he thought the show went great, so I'm excited to see it. So that will be aired on Wednesday afternoons and Saturdays.
Our first high school student got a credit for doing something for the senior center.
You know what? That's awesome. I think that's great. That's how they learn. And
I went across the hall to the seniors, and I went, I need a camera operator. Kenny's got to go.
Yeah.
Who's in?
Yeah, that's great.
Drag somebody across the hall.
Perfect. And that's, you know what? It's like death by fire, Pete. You know, that's just, you just have to, you know what? No, it's not. And it's just a great way to learn. It's like, okay, you know what? Here you go. Immersion therapy.
Like, just keep an eye on these two cameras, because they're not going to do a lot of movement, but we need to keep an eye on it.
Right. Exactly. So that's perfect. All right. We will talk more. We'll talk more about December programming. Let's take a break. It is 6:34. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses and WCPC cable channel 15. We're going to listen to Lou Rawls singing You'll Never Find Another Love Like Mine in honor of his birthday today. We'll be back.
as long as you live. Someone who loves you tender like I do. You'll never find, no matter where you search, someone who cares about you the way I do. Oh, I'm not bragging on myself, baby, but I'm the one who loves you, and there's no one else, no one else. You'll never find, it'll take the end of all time, someone to understand you like I do. You'll never find the rhythm, the rhyme, all the magic we shared, just us two. Oh, I'm not trying to make you stay, baby, but I know somehow, someday, some way you are. You're gonna miss my loving. You're gonna miss my loving. You're gonna miss my love. Oh, late in a midnight hour, baby, when it's cold outside, you're gonna miss my love. You'll never find another love like mine, someone who needs you like I do. You'll never see what you found in me. You'll keep searching and searching your whole life through. Oh, I don't wish you no bad luck, baby, but there's no ifs and buts, or maybe you're gonna miss my loving. I know you're gonna miss my loving. You're gonna miss my love. Oh, late in a midnight hour, baby, when it gets real cold outside, I know that you are gonna miss my love. Let me tell you that you're gonna miss my loving. Yes, you will, baby. When I'm long gone.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
This is Ken Stomsky from Ken's Den on WCPC 15 and 89.5 FM, Tuesdays, 8 to 10.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:39. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses and WCPC Cable Channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I am in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board, producer Pete Coles. Good morning again, Pete.
Good morning.
It's quiet in here today. It's. I guess it's
It's
still early,
early,
right?
yeah.
It's still early. I
Chef
think.
is here, so
Yep. I mean, I see a few bodies floating around, but it's kind of quiet. So we were talking before about RMV and scams and phishing and being careful not to open things online. It is also today, December 1st, is National Package Protection Day. So National Package Protection Day is always the Wednesday after Thanksgiving, and it encourages homeowners to stay alert and protect their homes against package theft, which becomes more and more prevalent during the holidays. This year's Package Protection Day falls on December 1st, today, so be on the lookout. The internet has made it easier to find deals and have packages shipped straight to our homes, but this has also made it easier for thieves to snatch our deliveries right from our doorsteps.
Yep.
Cyber Monday, in particular, of course, is a big online shopping day where most purchases are shipped directly to the buyer's home. With the advent of Black Friday and Cyber Monday, there became a need for a day that raises awareness of package theft and helps homeowners protect themselves against thieves. And just like that, Package Protection Day was born. So, what you can do is spread the word throughout your neighborhood about Package Protection Day so that your community is alert during the holidays. And we talked about this last year on Package Protection Day, because it's always that Wednesday after Thanksgiving. More and more of us, because of the pandemic and just because of convenience and work schedules and so forth, are ordering things online. And that's not just around the holidays, but obviously it shoots way up during the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
So please be aware. If you live in a neighborhood and you notice a package on somebody's on your neighbor's porch, call them up and say, listen, even if you just leave them a message, it's like, just wanted to let you know you had a package delivered. You might want to bring it in. If you're really close to your neighbors, like we're really good friends with our neighbors next door, we'll bring each other's packages in and leave a message and say, hey, I noticed a package, in your driveway. I have it at my house. I didn't want it just sitting there. So just be aware of that. I know there are some places where I think you can have things, Pete, right? You can have them delivered to like a locker or someplace, something like that.
Yes.
I've seen some of those kinds of things, just for people who might travel and not be home for a few days. But just, be aware.
yeah, Amazon in a lot of places has
Yeah.
storage lockers, and they give you can only have it there for like 72 hours, otherwise they
Right.
return it.
Right. Yeah. They
But
don't
you
want,
can also deliver it to like places like Dollar General and things like that. That if you're if you're FedEx
okay, I
or
didn't know
UPS,
that. Yeah.
Walgreens has it. I think for FedEx, they'll hold the package for a couple days.
Okay. All right. And I know some people have things shipped to, sometimes you
Like
can
during the
actually.
pandemic, when the school was closed,
Yes.
I had stuff coming to the school, and I didn't realize there wasn't anybody. All of a sudden,
Here
there wasn't
to
anybody
receive it.
here.
Yeah.
So I had them rerouted to Walgreens. One thing was the laptop or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So there are different ways to do that. So
Yes.
just that you're aware, folks. And again, keep an eye out, especially for your neighbors, and help them and let them help you and so forth.
Yep.
All right. It is the birthday of Bette Midler, singer, actress, born on this day in 1945 in Honolulu, Hawaii. She's 76 years old today. A shy child, which is really makes like that to me, that's hard to believe. I'm a huge Bette Midler fan. A shy child, Bette Midler eventually developed in the dramatic arts. But here is a fun fact about Bette Midler that I would not have predicted in 1,000 years. She won several talent competitions, and she graduated valedictorian from Radford High School before attending the University of Hawaii. So graduated first in her high school class. After moving to New York City to pursue her dream, she landed her first big break in 1966 when she joined the cast of Fiddler on the Roof. But Broadway success eluded her. So Bette Midler soon found a new venue for her talents. I had heard this. I don't know if you know this, Pete. I had heard this story, and this just cracks me up. Bette Midler landed a weekend gig at the Continental Baths, a gay bathhouse. There, she developed a popular nightclub act of outrageously bawdy comic routines going by the name The Divine Miss M. At one time, she was, I knew this too. I think we talked about this when
I
we
knew
talked
about the nickname.
Yeah. At one time, she was accompanied on the piano by the then unknown Barry Manilow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when she was doing all this bawdy, raucous stuff, Barry Manilow, who was like, Mr. Crooner kind of a guy, was playing the piano for her, because at that time nobody knew who Barry Manilow was. I love these stories, and I just think this cracks me up. The president of Atlantic Records heard Bette Midler sing and signed her to the label. Her debut album, aptly titled The Divine Miss M, which went platinum in 1972 and won Midler a Grammy Award for Best New Artist. Now, I have to confess, so in 1972, I was in college, and my best friend, a girlfriend of my best friend, got a hold of this album, The Divine Miss M. I'd never heard of Bette Midler at that point. And so we started playing this album. We memorized, we sang every song. The songs were hilarious. I almost chose, there's a song on there called Twisted, and I almost chose that because I actually did that I won a lip sync contest singing that song, Twisted, with my college roommate. It was hilarious. But anyway, in 1974, Bette Midler went on the road with her Clams on the Half Shell review. Movies included The Rose, Beaches, and For the Boys. Midler enjoyed more success on screen in the 1990s, co-starring with Woody Allen in Scenes from a Mall. She returned to Broadway in the 2017 revival of Hello, Dolly. So let's see, she would have been 72 years old at that point, starring in the lead role as Dolly Gallagher Levi, which I can totally see her doing that. Her performance received rave reviews from the critics and earned her a Tony Award for Best Actress in a Musical. So happy 76th birthday to Bette Midler. Okay. So let's switch. Oh, it's time for a break. I just realized what time it was. Time flies, Pete.
Yep.
All right. So it is 6:46. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses and WCPC cable channel 15. So in honor of the birthday of Mary Martin, mother of Larry Hegman, we are going to play the song I'm Flying from the show Peter Pan. We'll be back.
I'll teach you. Oh, how lovely to fly! I'll teach you how to jump on the wind's back, and away we'll go. Wendy, when you're sleeping in your silly bed, you might be flying about with me, saying funny things to the stars. How do you do it? You just think lovely, wonderful thoughts, and up you go. Oh, how sweet! I'm sweet. I'm sweet. I'm flying. Look at me way up high, suddenly here am I, I'm flying. I'm flying. Flying. I can soar, I can weave, and what's more, I'm not even trying. Wonderful. High up and as light as I can be. I must be a sight lovely to see. Flying. Nothing will stop me now. Higher still, look at how I can zoom around. Way up off the ground, I'm flying. I fly and I'm all over the place. You try and you'll fall flat on your face. I'm flying. Over bed, over chair, duck your head, clear the air. Oh, what lovely fun. Watch me, everyone. Take a look at me and see how easily it's done. I'm flying. Oh, my God. Oh, teach us, Peter. Please teach us. First, I must blow the fairy dust on you. Now think lovely thoughts. Think lovely thoughts. Think lovely thoughts. Fishing, hopscotch, handy. Picnics, summer, candy. Sailing, flowers, candy. Lovelier thoughts, Michael.
Support for community radio on WSKB is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. On the web at bettsplumbing.com or at 14 Coleman Avenue in Westfield.
Join us the third Wednesday of every month with Selectman Joe Didi and his take on everything Southwick.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:51. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses and WCPC Cable Channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I am in the studio this morning with the chairman of the board, Pete Coles. Good morning again, Pete.
Good morning.
So, Pete, I didn't tell you what happened. So on Saturday, I've been in this, just this cleaning out mood. I'm just trying to get rid of stuff. So I had I have piles all over the place. This is going here and this is going there. And we have a local church that was doing a clothing drive. So they had set up a box, and the church is 5 minutes from my house. So I thought, oh, this is wonderful.
Yep.
It's really convenient. It's right down the street. They have a box set up there, which they empty very often. So there's not stuff spilling all over the place. So I had a bag together. I got my, plastic bag. I got everything ready. And so I said to Gary, okay, I'm going to head to my office and I'll stop at the church. I'm going to drop off this bag and then, I'll be home later. So I go to the church parking lot and the box, the wooden, box, whatever structure, is on the grass. So I go to put the bag in the box, and there was a ditch in the grass that I didn't see, and I rolled my ankle.
Ooh.
Yeah. So threw the clothes in, got back in my car, driving to work, and I'm going, wow, that. You know how like you do it at first and you think, ooh, that smarts, but it wasn't going away.
Yep.
So I'm driving to work and I'm going, this is really painful. Like, I think I really did something not good here, But I got to work, and by the time I got to my office, I said, oh, okay, got out of the car. Everything was fine. It was fine. So the newsletters got delivered on Saturday because, of course, as we said, we have the new edition of the newsletter out. So that requires, bring them all inside and sort them all out and run around the senior center, put one on everybody's desk and do all the stuff I need to do. So I'm doing all the stuff. My ankle's fine. When I had to run over to the Arbors for something later on in the afternoon, that's how I know how cold it was because it was so windy when I went over there. But, everything was fine. Came back from the Arbors and I'm working on my radio show. And now I'm starting to feel the ankle again. And I said, okay, now this is bothering me. And it was starting to get to the point where I thought, okay, you know what? This is really cramping my style here. And I've got work to do. And now I'm in pain. So, I'll take a couple of Advil. So I did. So it was fine. Took the edge off. I said, let's just take the edge off.
Yep.
That was fine for several hours. And right around the time I was kind of winding down at the senior center and getting ready to go home, the Advil was wearing off, and now my ankle was really starting to bother me.
Throbbing.
Yeah, we were at the throbbing stage. But you know what, Pete? It felt like I thought to myself, I'm going to take my sneaker off, and it's gonna be like ballooned out. It wasn't. It never swelled up. But the long and the short of it was, I was in so much, by that time, I was in so much pain. So Gary had texted me kind of saying, okay, when are you coming home? And I said, well, I'm trying to get out of here. But I said, I rolled my ankle. So I said, I'm kind of hobbling around. I said, but I'm on my way. So he texted me back and he said, okay, he goes, the doctor is in. So when you get home, we'll ice it, we'll elevate it, we'll do all that stuff. By the time I answered the text, I said, Gary, I am in so much pain that I'm nauseous right now. So he called me and he said, are you okay? And I said, no, I'm really not. I can't put any pressure on it. If that had happened when I first rolled, I would have thought I broke it.
Yep.
But except for I was running around the senior center earlier in the afternoon and it wasn't bothering me. So anyway, he said, look, Grace just came home. Why don't we come out and get you? Which they did because it was my right foot. So not a good foot to be driving with. So anyway, they came and they got me, and that was Saturday night. Yeah, that was Saturday night. So Saturday night, all I could do was sit on the couch, watch television. I had my foot elevated. Gary wrapped ice around it, and it was like he iced it for, 45 minutes, and we took the ice pack off. And he said, okay, you can kind of try to gently. I couldn't extend it. I couldn't flex it. I could definitely not move it side to side at all. So Gary decided that was God's way of telling me that I had to just sit my butt down and stop running around. And so it was like 1,000% better the next day. I still have it wrapped. It's still a little tweaky, and I'm just nervous that I'll forget and I'll come like flying down the stairs at the senior center and just send it into that pain spin again. So I have my ankle brace on just to remind me. But yeah. So Sunday, and I was like, okay, Gary, I don't have time for this. I can't be sitting around. We have crutches at home. I actually had to use crutches on Saturday night, though. I couldn't put any pressure on.
Really?
I cannot believe how much pain I was in. I could not believe it. But Gary knew exactly he knew exactly what happened, how I rolled it, where the pain was. Before I even told him, he goes, I'm going to bet the pain is right here. I said, yes. He goes, okay, it's a classic symptom of whatever I had. It was, whatever I did. I stretched or pulled tendons or ligaments or whatever I did. Yep. I've done that before. As a kid, I've done that. And I remember going to the ER and having them say, you would have been better off breaking it because what you did was really painful.
It's annoying,
but, yeah. Anyway, it was annoying, but I managed to hobble around a little on Saturday and get my outdoor. Gary and I got all of our outdoor decorations.
Your body
up.
forced you to take a break.
It did, but even on Sunday, I had to we did the outdoor decorations, and then it was like, okay, time to get off the foot, elevate it, get the ice back on. So yeah, for 2 days it was a lot of icing and sitting and elevation.
Good.
And yeah, that's exactly what Gary said. Good. All right.
You are a type A, so we have to take care of you.
I know.
Because you don't take care of yourself. You're like me.
I know.
We don't take care of ourselves.
I know. I try to, but I'm not very good at it.
Right.
Okay, it is the birthday of actor, writer, and director Woody Allen, December 1st. Born on this date in 1935 in Brooklyn, New York. He's 86 years old today. Born Alan Stewart Koenigsberg, Woody Allen legally changed his name to Haywood Allen when he was 17 years old. I wonder where he got the name Haywood, how he decided on that. Coming from an often volatile and loud Jewish middle-class family in Brooklyn, gave Allen all of the material he needed to start writing monologues and performing stand-up comedy while still in high school. His early life of turmoil in an overcrowded apartment would ultimately give him years of fodder for what would become a prolific and award-winning career in motion pictures and screenwriting. Woody Allen attended New York University in 1953, promptly failing a course in motion picture production. Discouraged, he dropped out of school and began writing for television, including working with Sid Caesar. His work won him an Emmy Award nomination, but Allen grew bored and soon tried his hand at stand-up comedy, becoming popular on the New York City comedy club circuit. His comic persona was that of a long-suffering nebbish, a person who is pitifully timid, a personality he held on to throughout the years. Woody Allen is best known for his romantic comedy films containing elements of parody and slapstick. He's also known for writing strong and well-defined characters for his female stars. Allen directed and starred in two of his most famous films, Annie Hall and Manhattan. Among his featured performers were Diane Keaton and Mia Farrow, both of whom he was romantically involved with. Allen later came under fire for his relationship with Farrow's adopted daughter, Soon Yi Previn, and the alleged sexual assault of another adopted daughter, Dylan Farrow, though his career continued to flourish. So happy birthday to Woody Allen. And finally, it is the birthday of the late Richard Pryor, comedian, actor born on this date in 1940 in Peoria, Illinois. Passed away at the age of 65. Richard Pryor got a rough start in life. His mother reportedly worked as a prostitute, and his father was a bartender and a boxer. His parents married when he was 3 years old, but their union did not last. For much of his youth, Richard Pryor was left in his grandmother's care and lived in the brothel that she ran. To step away from the grim reality of his life, Pryor found solace in going to the movies. At school, he played the part of the class clown. He went on to discover acting in his early teens. In 1963, Richard Pryor moved to New York City. The following year, he made his television debut on the variety show called On Broadway Tonight. Guest appearances followed on such programs as The Merv Griffin Show and The Ed Sullivan Show. At the time, his act was modeled after two African-American comedians he admired, Bill Cosby and Dick Gregory. In the early 1970s, Richard Pryor scored several successes as an actor and comedian. He earned positive reviews for his supporting role in the Billie Holiday biopic Lady Sings the Blues, 1972, starring Diana Ross. Pryor also wrote for such shows as The Flip Wilson Show and Sanford and Son. Continuing to thrive professionally, Richard Pryor worked with Mel Brooks on the screenplay for the Western spoof of Blazing Saddles, which came out in 1974. His own work was also attracting a lot of attention. Despite its X-rated content, his third comedy album sold extremely well and won the Grammy Award for Best Comedy Recording in 1974, a feat he repeated over the next 2 years. Fans of all racial backgrounds were captivated by Pryor's comedy, which consisted of situational and character-driven humor in place of straightforward jokes. He poked fun at the white establishment and explored the racial divide. Off-screen and off-stage, Pryor had a long history of substance abuse and stormy relationships. In 1980, the actor's drug use spiraled out of control, and after several days of freebasing cocaine, he lit himself on fire in a suicide attempt. It was initially reported as an accident, but he later admitted in his autobiography that he had done it on purpose in a drug haze. So that is Richard Pryor, who passed away at the age of 65. And I don't remember how he ultimately died. It wasn't from the...
I think it was cancer.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, it is 7:02. You are listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses and WCPC cable channel 15. We'll be back in just a minute.
Underwriting for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield, serving the youth of the Whip City and surrounding communities since 1969. For more information on the Great Futures Club for ages 3 to 5, happening weekdays, and the Club Teen Center for ages 11 and older, weekdays from 6:30 till 8 p.m., go online at bcgwestfield.org or visit the club at 28 West Silver Street. The Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield, Great futures start here.
This is Ken Stomsky from Ken's Den on WCPC 15 and 89.5 FM, Tuesdays, 8 to 10.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:05. You're listening to WSKB.
I saw Mr. Forney.
I didn't know who that. We have him dancing in the hallways, Pete, to respect. So
That
who
was
was
Steve
that?
Forney.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
He's one of the first teachers in the morning, so he just happened to, he hears it. Sometimes he'll stop by and say hi. But I happen to see him, I got a camera pointing that way because it's pointing towards the Kathy Palmer seat.
Yep,
and I was
yep,
like,
yep.
I saw him grooving. I was like, that's Steve.
It was hysterical. Well, I saw him when he was going by, and I was
Steve
like,
in the
oh,
doorway.
right.
I was like,
Yeah, definitely.
well, he was home late. He had a Bruins game last night, so.
Ah.
He's the PA announcer for the Bruins now.
He is?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, he was doing it for the
How cool is that?
Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
And they had open auditions for the Bruins, and he got the job and left the Thunderbirds. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
So does he? So he has to go, he's in Boston.
So he's home at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh
on
my goodness!
a couple of whenever they have a
Where
home
was he
game.
working before this?
He was the producer for Bo and Adam.
That's what I thought I was going to say.
Yeah, Steve
Why do
Forney,
I?
yeah.
Why do I know that name? I know I met him when I was on the show because I
Right.
was on with Bo and Brad.
Yeah, stop by and say hi before you,
Oh my
before you
God, that's
boogie
so
out.
funny. All right. So one more special day today. This is Rosa Parks Day. So Rosa Parks Day honors an American civil rights heroine, I guess, twice a year on February 4th or December 1st. The holiday recognizes the civil rights leader Rosa Parks. On December 1st, 1955, after a long Thursday at work, Rosa Parks boarded a bus in Montgomery, Alabama. She took her seat in the, quote, colored section. As she rode the Cleveland Avenue bus home, the bus began to fill. The Montgomery City Ordinance allowed bus drivers to assign seating. However, it did not permit them to demand passengers give up their seats. Despite this, bus drivers customarily required black passengers to give up their seats to white passengers when public transportation became full. When the bus driver asked Parks to give up her seat, she refused. Police arrested her, and what followed is civil rights history. On December 5th, 1955, the courts found Parks guilty of violating the city ordinance and fined her $10 plus a court fee. African American leaders, including E.D. Nixon and Martin Luther King Jr., organized the Montgomery bus boycott for the date of Rosa Parks' trial. The boycott succeeded and lasted several months, devastating the transportation system in Montgomery, Alabama. So happy Rosa Parks Day. All right, that's that. Okay, so a few announcements before we take our next break and bring our guest in at 7:15. Curbside Cuisine Jingle Bell Lunch we'll be doing in December at the Senior Center. That will be on Wednesday, December 22nd, so just a few days before Christmas. We'll have our annual Jingle Bell Lunch, curbside style this year, as we did last year. The menu will include Yankee pot roast with gravy, mashed potatoes, mixed vegetable, and dessert, and we'll start taking reservations for that beginning a week from today at 10 a.m., so December 8th at 10 a.m. The cost of the dinner is $5. We expect a quick sellout, even though we'll take over 200 reservations, but we know that yesterday, Pete, we had homemade lasagna, sold out in 6 minutes. I could not believe it. Yeah, I wasn't there. I got in a little bit late yesterday because I had my booster shot the day before, so I was sleeping in a little bit.
I heard a lot of people got really sick from the booster shot.
Well,
everybody I know, except for you, but
no, I didn't get really sick. I had a really bad reaction after not a bad reaction, just I reacted. I was just the second one. I had a migraine headache.
I had nothing for either one of them.
And
like nothing.
Which shot did you have? Pfizer?
Moderna.
Oh, you did have Moderna. Wow, you're lucky because my experience is the people who had Pfizer kind of skated through this, and those of us that had Moderna didn't skate through it. But my yesterday,
Although I work through everything, so
yeah, I
who
know.
knows?
I was just I was tired. I had a headache. I had a headache all day, but then again, I've had a headache for the last 2 weeks, so it wasn't that much worse than what I'd already had. And I was tired. I mean, when I had my second shot, I couldn't get out of bed. We did it on a Friday, and I didn't get out of bed until like 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday. But yesterday, it was not bad. I was a little tired. As the day went on, the headache wore off. Grace had hers the same day I had mine. We both, Mark Butera over at Stop and Shop Pharmacy in Westfield did it for us. And Grace had hers in the morning, and by the time I got home Monday night, she already had like the splitting headache. But she didn't have as much a reaction after the second shot. But this one kind of nailed
That's
her
what I
for
heard.
a
If
while.
you had nothing for the first two,
yeah,
you're gonna get
This is
whacked
what-
hard with
yeah.
that one. And I'm
And that's
scared.
kinda
I'm
what
worried
happened.
about it.
Yeah.
And like Danny Nason's in the hospital.
Wow.
With congestive heart failure because he and his wife both had COVID. They're both sharing a hospital room together. So he's dealing with that, and I'm going for results for that on Thursday. So
Okay.
I might have it too from either COVID or the shot.
Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah.
It's right now. I'm kind of very leery about getting the third shot.
Well, just I mean, and we know that if you're a special case, you need to consult with your medical provider and make that decision and figure
Right.
it out. I mean, don't just go ahead and do it and without because it's not it's definitely not for everyone. But anyway, so that was that. So Jingle Bell Lunch is coming up. Inclement weather closings, folks. I can't believe I'm talking about this, but we need to. If the schools are closed, because schools are back in session, if the school is closed, the senior center is closed. If the school has a delayed opening, the senior center will open at noon with no lunch that day, but all of the afternoon programs. The morning programs will be canceled or postponed or rescheduled. If we know of an impending snowstorm, and we will do multiple meals earlier in the week. So, we've practiced that, and we know we can do it, and you can do it because we did it last year. So that's going to be that. All right. And one last thing. So on December 14th, the schedule is out. We printed it up, so we'll be distributing the schedule as of today for the January, February winter fitness classes. Sign-ups for that will be Tuesday, December 14th. They'll be done curbside at 8:45. And I'm going to thank my next guest already because he's going to be helping us out on that day. We're extending those sessions, so they'll be, we usually do like a 10-class session, but at the request of my seniors, we're going to try a 15-class session, so it'll be more expensive, but it'll run longer. So the net signups it'll run all through January and all through February, both for chair yoga as well as Carol Palmer's Totally Fun Fitness classes. So sign up for those January, February classes will be Tuesday, December 14th at 8:45, and the entire schedule of the classes is on a pink handout that we will have at the greeter's desk. All right, it's 7:13. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield Masses, and WCPC cable channel 15. We're going to play a song to get give our guest time to. Did Gary call in yet or no?
Yeah.
Not yet. Oh, he did. Okay, he's on the line. All right, so let's listen to, in honor of National Package Protection Day, Stevie Wonder's going to sing Signed, Sealed, and Delivered.
Then that time I went and said goodbye.
Support for community radio on WSKB is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. On the web at bettsplumbing.com or at 14 Coleman Avenue in Westfield.
Hi, it's Bob Plass, and I have Wow, It's Tuesday, every Tuesday, 6 to 8. Wow, it's Tuesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
I did it!
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:17. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses and WCPC Cable Channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host. I'm in the studio with the chairman of the board, producer Pete Coles, and on the phone we have Dr. Gary Gorman, our WSKB, WCPC resident chiropractor working at Strength for Life in East Hampton, Massachusetts. Good morning, Dr. Gorman.
Well, good morning, Mrs. Gorman. How are you?
I'm doing well. You should see this really awesome split screen that Pete has going here with your big picture. So I'm in half the screen and you're in half the screen.
A news organization now.
We look like a news organization. I'll have to take a picture.
Well, that is pretty cool.
I know. I have to take a picture of it, Garen, and send it to you. So it's pretty
I'll
amazing.
have to take a field trip out there someday and take a look at the new digs.
I know. Well, it's not, it's the digs are the same. It's just what you actually see. It's what our viewers see on television.
I'll send it to you on Facebook, Gary.
Oh, that'd be great, Pete. Yeah, do that. Perfect.
The creativity of Pete Coles.
Oh, my gosh.
Continues on.
He's amazing. Well, now, Pete, you have me watching even sports channels, like with a whole different view. Like I'm going, okay, is that really a table or a desk out there? Or is that,
You'll never be right again.
I know. It's just amazing. You watch things with a whole different eye now. So, Gare, I have one more announcement to make, and I decided I would wait for you to help me make this announcement because you know the person. So I've been doing some announcements about some things happening at the Senior Center in December, and one of the things that'll happen starting next week is that we will be selling our new Friends of the Westfield Senior Center T-shirts. And the person who made the T-shirt and helped me to design this is a good friend of Gary's and mine. He's Gary's cycling buddy, Mike Borelli. Mike was a former neighbor of ours, and he actually works for Elm Electric. What is he, a mechanic?
Engineer.
He's an engineer, but is he a mechanical? Is it a robotic engineer?
I think mechanical.
Mechanical engineer. So Mike we just love him. I'm not sure, Gary and I are not sure if Mike actually knows how funny he is because he's got a very dry sense of humor, and his delivery is sort of deadpan. But if we just think he's hilarious. The stuff he comes out with is so funny, but he is so dedicated, and he did our T-shirts when we had our Friends logo. We decided the Friends group wanted to do something a little different, which of course is Mike does the T-shirt thing on the side. It's kind of like in his basement, and he really doesn't do it much anymore. But he has really helped out the Friends group and has always kind of donated his time and really just charges us for whatever the cost of the supplies and the shirts are. So, but those shirts will go on sale next week. They have arrived, but we have to inventory them and sort them and fold them and count them and all of those good things. They'll be $10 a piece. So what we decided on for the new saying is, it says on the front, "That's what friends are for," and underneath the Westfield Senior Center. And we just really felt like, it was the play on words for friends and the Friends group. But, I think we've all needed friends during this pandemic, and the importance of however you define friends and even family members can be, good friends, siblings and, your kids and your parents. So thanks to Mike Borelli for doing that for us. And again, folks, for those of you, and you can tell your grandchildren if you want to get, you want to buy somebody a gift, grandma or grandpa who, is a frequent visitor of the Senior Center. The seniors love them and they wear them, and my staff wears them. So thank you to Mike Borelli. Right, Gare?
Exactly. Yeah, Mike and I did some of the lock boxes together, and
that's right. Thank you, Gary. Yeah,
then,
mention.
and the smoke detector. So yeah, we've been getting together more often these past couple months. That's fun.
That's right. I forgot about the lock boxes. Mike and Gary installed all of the lock boxes in our lockbox project this year as part of our Senior Safe grant. And it was funny, Gary, when Mike delivered the T-shirts, he said to me, "Okay, what do you have? What's my next project? Because I'm starting to get bored." You got to love this guy. He is one of those. He loves to be kept busy. So now I've stopped feeling like I'm imposing when I ask him to do things. He's just a wonderful volunteer and a good friend. So
Right.
Gary Gorman, we have not had you on air in a couple of months. How are things going?
I don't know if you have enough time to start that whole process, but no, I'm doing well actually. Everything's good. We're just kicking right along. Just keeping flexible and just staying. I think we are staying protected. We're kind of protecting ourselves. We're not letting our guard down. We're continuing to be cautious moving through our daily activities and our daily routines, and we have to be. We just can't let our guard down. I came in on the end of the vaccination piece with you and Pete were talking, and at the end of the day, I think I love what you said, what the German chancellor said on the national news. He basically said, you're either going to get vaccinated or you're going to get it. You may recover or you're going to die. And that's really...
That was the Chancellor of Germany last week. It's like, all right, folks, here's what's happening.
It's pretty straightforward. The way virus actually operate is that they have to find a host. So the vaccinated folks are hosts that the virus will not survive because of our immune system has been jump-started and sensitized and ready to battle.
Right.
It's the non-vaccinated that are the hosts, and it's been proven by the 2 million people that have died as a result of this that this means business, and their choice. The choice is you take a risk. So anyway, I came in on that, and so we're being protected. We still use masks at our office. East Hampton has a mask mandate indoors.
Is that for all Gary? Is that for all businesses indoors, or just municipal businesses? Or
no, I think
it's
all
for
businesses.
everything.
Well,
okay.
I think it's all business. I think it's all indoor mask wearing.
Okay.
I think in East Hampton. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's interesting because you run around, do some shopping around here in West Springfield, and it used to be 80-20 of people in Stop and Shop or Big Y wearing masks. Now it's, I think, 20-80. You get the few people that still want to protect themselves, and the rest are letting their guard, in my opinion, are letting their guard down a little bit. But
what's so interesting though, Gary, because I do, as you know, I do all my shopping like off hours. I kind of do that on purpose. So I'm usually, and I find that when I'm in like Big Y or when I go to Stop and Shop, because it's either usually very early or late, like an hour before closing, most of the people, the vast majority, are wearing masks because they're doing the same thing I'm doing. They're trying to shop off hours when it's not too crowded. So they are already, sort of being cautious. So it always it makes me smile because I think to myself, well, gee, when I'm in there, most of the vast majority are masked. It's really interesting. But anyway, so Gare, I had introduced your topic earlier of the first hour and saying that we were going to talk a little bit about transitions. Pete and I were saying at the beginning of the show, I said to Pete, I was driving in today and it was 28 degrees. Mary Lou and I were talking about this when we were doing distributing lunches yesterday. It's like, when did it go from summer to winter? I felt like, and as Pete said too, we had a relatively mild fall. So it really kind of feels like we're jumping from summer, and then all of a sudden the Christmas lights are up. The temperature's in the teens. I mean, as Pete was saying on Saturday when they did the tree lighting, it was so windy and the temperature was dropping significantly. And that kind of wreaks havoc with us, I think, physically and emotionally and psychologically. And I think that's kind of what you wanted to focus in on today. Am I right?
Yeah, I really do. 2 weeks ago, I was out playing golf at the ranch and it was 70 degrees out. So, it was, but I kind of feel that this was a longer transition season because the temperature did drop, but it kind of leveled off in the fall. So it didn't go from 80 degrees to 20 degrees. You know, we didn't lose our flowers early. You know, it's just there was a longer, what I call spring and fall. I call transition seasons between winter and summer. I think moving into winter is probably the most difficult transition for a host of reasons. One is psychological, because when you go from the transition of summer to fall, we talked about doing yard work, fall cleanup, raking leaves, putting our perennials to bed, taking in some, that kind of stuff. Now, going from fall to winter, what's happening is that we are being forced, not being forced, but are moving indoors from outdoors with our activities of daily living. So, unless you like to do winter sports, which a lot of people don't, it's just too cold. If you ski, if you snowboard, simple little things, which what we're going to do this year is snowshoe, cross-country ski. I feel that the listening audience needs to start preparing. If they were golfers, if they were hikers, if they were cyclists, what are you planning on doing now until March? That is something that really is important to start to plan ahead, because your days were filled with whatever activities that you enjoy doing for fall. It's important to fill your time and your activities with winter activities and safe winter activities. What are those? Do you have a gym that you go to? Is there a place that you can safely walk, whether it's indoors or outdoors? So I think because psychologically, when we're forced to go indoors, that's a difficult thing to do. It's very, very healing to be out with Mother Nature, whether it's outside with the trees and the birds and the flowers and the wind so I feel it's really important to. It's hard from being active to coming inside and watching TV all day or doing something that's inactive. It's not only. So this is a difficult one. It's a difficult transition. I think it's the most difficult transition because of the weather that's so extreme from fall to winter in New England.
And Garrett, do you think, just from listening to what you're saying, I kind of feel like if you don't, you almost have to script this for yourself. You've got to build that into your schedule of however you're going to manage this, bringing activity into your life so that you're not just sitting and watching TV or sitting and eating or whatever. But I think you've really got to have a schedule or a plan, because it is so easy when it's cold and it's dark out, early in the morning. It's dark out earlier in the afternoon now. And it's cold. And if it's windy or whatever, it is really easy to say, I'll just have a cup of tea, or I'll just, watch another show. You know what I mean? If you don't have some kind of I'm going to get some movement, some activity in, 10 o'clock every morning, 2 o'clock every afternoon. We have continued to do all of the Channel 15 programming. So there literally is fitness. You can do fitness in your living room 7 days a week. And, we really have a nice variety. Pete really has that nice variety of, yoga and chair yoga and yoga dance and the sessions that you and Grace have done, which is general fitness, Carol Palmer's session. What else do we have? Oh, the Zumba Gold session, the line dancing. So, there is something, and a lot of days we have more than one, so you can choose something. So I think it's just being dedicated, Gare, right?
Oh, it absolutely is. It's so easy to build in excuses of why you shouldn't do something, but you really need to commit yourself into doing it, as though, like, you get up, you have breakfast, you brush your teeth, you take your vitamins. This is also, the vitamin of virility and life and movement is keeping active and doing things. It's not being sedate, inactive, becoming a couch potato in the wintertime, because that will start changing everything. And that's a long subject to go into, but you start putting on weight because you start getting into your comfort foods and you start getting a little blue with your seasonal affective disorders. It's a spiraling downward. So no excuses. Bundle up, get out and walk around. If you don't, I tell some of my patients, come up the Strength for Life, come up in the Eastworks building or there's 3 factory buildings up there in East Hampton with nice old wooden floors. Walk around in there. It's warmer. The floors are a little bit more forgiving. You could walk around school properties on weekends or when the kids are out of school. Usually things are plowed, the sidewalks are cleaned off. You don't need to be walking on the roads when we have snow and ice. So there are places to walk and to get out, get some fresh air. It's really important. But you're absolutely right. It has to be part of your regular routine because you will make excuses not to get out.
Yeah, and that's just that's not a personality flaw because I think that we all have a tendency to do that. You can rationalize pretty much anything, right? So so I think, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the same time each day. But what I have found, and we've talked about this with others that we've had on the show, it's really helpful. The night before to say, okay, so tomorrow, kind of here's my schedule. And, people may have doctor's appointments or, they may be coming to the senior center to pick up lunch or whatever. So, build it around then. Okay, so I'm going to do this and this. And then when I get home, and certainly in the wintertime, if you are going to be going out and doing some walking or whatever, what you want to do is, plan it for, maybe you're used to walking first thing in the morning. Well, that works well in the summer when it's really warm, but you might not want to do that, in the wintertime. It may be like early afternoon, which might be the warmest part of the day. Or, pay attention to the weather. When is the sun going to be out? Are we going to, it's going to be sunny in the morning and then it's going to get cloudy in the afternoon? Or is it going to start out cloudy and get sunny? So, I sometimes will do that. It's like, okay, well, you know what? Let's do it now because this is when it's going to be, not windy, or this is when it's going to be sunny or a little bit warmer. So it's okay to do that. You and I have, become great at the night before, always, listening to the local weather. Okay, what's going on? What's Jana Brown telling us? What's Brian Lapis telling us, in terms of weather and to, kind of work things around that. This is a great time of the year. Your grandchildren, your children are asking, what do you want for Christmas presents? Well, if you need warmer mittens, if you need a scarf, if you need earmuffs or a warmer hat, in order to just get outside and, right, Gary, even if it's just for like 20 minutes, a half an hour, that's
exactly.
That's like
and you
really
can break
helpful.
It up. If it's cold, obviously, if it's below zero with a wind chill factor,
right, of course,
you stay inside.
Right.
The beauty if some people have treadmills, you start using your treadmills, you start using your ellipticals, you start walking around your house for 15 or 20 minutes inside. There are days that you're not going to go outside, so walk around inside. Put your stopwatch on and walk for 15 minutes a couple times a day to have a break. When you're watching TV, at every commercial, get up and walk around a little bit so you're not stuck sitting there for a long period of time. So those are important things. And but you're right. If you can get outside, you could just walk on your street where it's safe and short walks. You could do 2 15-minute walks instead of 1 half-hour walk or whatever it is. Break it up, come in, get warm, and continue to keep hydrated no matter what, because if you're we need water throughout the year, just not in the summer when it's hot. So,
Okay, so
but that's important.
you know what I want to do, Gara, is we need to take a break here. I want to, but as a reminder, I want to talk a little bit about our neighbor, Norm Beals, who I've talked about Norm on the show before, and something that Norm was saying to us when we talked to him on the phone the other day about, we'll come over and help you do this, and he talked about needing that activity in his life. So we'll come back to that. We'll have a short story to just illustrate what we were just talking about. It's 7:35. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses and WCPC cable channel 15. My guest this morning is Dr. Gary Gorman. We're going to take a short break, and in honor of her birthday, we're going to listen to Bette Midler singing Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy. We'll be right back.
was a famous trumpet man from out Chicago way. He had a boogie style that no one else could play. He was the top man at his craft. But then his number came up and he was gone with the draft. He's in the army now, a blowing reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. They made him blow a bugle for his Uncle Sam. It really brought him down because he could not jam. The captain seemed to understand, because the next year the cap went out and drafted the band. And now the company jumps when he plays reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. A root, a toot, a tootly attitude. He blows an 8 to the bar. In boogie rhythm, he can't blow a note unless the bass and guitar is playing with him. And the company jumps when he plays reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. He was some boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. When he plays boogie woogie bugle, he was busy as a busy bee. When he played, he made the company jump 8 to the bar. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. Da 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 doodly da doodly da doot doot. He blows 8 to the bar. He can't blow a note of a bass and guitar with him. And the company jumps when he plays reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. The boys will sleep with boogie every night and wakes them up the same way in the early bright. They clap their hands and stamp their feet, 'cause they know how he goes and some will get the beat. Whoa, whoa, he makes it up when he plays reveille. The boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. A root, a toot, a toot, 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 he blows his 8 to the bar. Can't blow a note of a bass and guitar and war with him. And the company jumps and he plays reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B.
Underwriting support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Greater Westfield Chamber of Commerce, the voice of business for the Greater Westfield communities. Informing, educating, advocating, the Chamber provides opportunities for members to make meaningful connections on local, regional, and state levels. For more information on the Chamber's many events, workshops, and programs, as well as the benefits of membership, visit westfieldbiz.org. The Chamber focuses on the most important economy, yours.
I'm Mark Auerbach. Join me every Friday at 8 a.m. for Arts Beat, where you'll meet interesting actors, directors, designers, and musicians here in Western New England.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:38. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield Masses, and WCPC Cable Channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and on the phone this morning we have Dr. Gary Gorman, chiropractor with Strength for Life in East Hampton. Welcome back, Gary.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, we were talking about the importance of staying physically active as we transition into winter, and how this can be really difficult, especially in New England. But the other day, Gary and I were on the phone. Our neighbor called us, which our neighbor Norm Beals is. How old is Norm, Gary? 87?
88.
88. So Norm is 88. He's a wonderful, wonderful neighbor. Taught in the West Springfield school system for he'll tell you about 1,000 years. He taught. What did he teach? Chemistry? Was it chemistry?
Yeah, he was the chairman of the chemistry department.
Right. But anyway, Norm was saying, he called us the other night to tell us we had decorated the outside. We have a lot of greenery out there, and he called us to tell us how beautiful our house looked at night, all lit up and everything. And so he was saying that he and his wife were going to do theirs the next day. And, they have they have a sled that's over 100 years old that they put out, and they have they put a wreath on it and decorate it and so forth. And he said, and then, we spotlight that. So Gary, you had said to Norm, well, Norm, I'll come over and put the spotlight in for you. And what was his response, Gare?
He said, oh, no, because he said, I have to get up and move around. I have to feel like I'm being productive, at least during the day. And he has to do something that he could, at the end of the day, look like he accomplished something.
Right. And he said, and part of it was that sense of accomplishment. Part of it was the recognition of I have to move, because Norm is he's an avid reader. And so, he'll sit and read for hours, but he also recognizes I have to keep moving around. And I think, he said that. He said, I plan every day. I plan like one or two things that require me to get up, to move, to do something that at the end of the day, I can say, okay, I did this and I did this. And yes, I enjoyed reading. I watched a little TV, I got together with a friend, whatever. But I think it was so important that, he recognized that. So, Gare, we've talked a little bit about the physical. You have to stop breathing into the phone because that like resonates. Can you hear yourself, Gare?
No, it's not me because I'm holding the phone away from me.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure what that is then. There's like this staticky. But anyway, so you talked a little bit, Gare, about the...
You're on speaker, that's why. Yeah,
okay.
I'm not.
Okay, about the physical end of, or the physical side of this transition. What are you thinking about, like the emotional or psychological side? Any tips for our viewers on how to transition? We know that that people sometimes get depressed during this time of the year.
Yeah. Well, I think the key is activity. You just need to be active. Any psychologist will tell you that we get up and do something, anything, rather than just staying in bed or sitting and doing nothing. And activity, physical activity, exercise, that creates a whole change in the chemicals in our brain that helps battle depression. But get up and move around. That is really the exercise is the most important thing. And whatever level it is depends on you and your individual. But I think the planning, which is what we talked about before, is critical in order for you to don't wait until you get up one morning and go, oh, I have nothing to do today. Well, because you went from playing golf 3 or 4 days a week, or tennis, or
pickleball,
paddleball, or what's that other thing?
Pickleball.
Pickleball.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You went from that to, oh my. And the big part of it is the socialization that you had while you were engaging in those activities. So you may want to meet with the 3 friends that you played golf with and walk, or have coffee or something, because we tend to isolate ourselves in our home because we think it's too cold to go outside, or it's raining, or it's overcast, or whatever the case may be. So these are things to be thinking about now in planning what you're going to do moving forward to continue to remain social, continue to be engaged, and don't get into self-isolation.
You know what, Gare, I'm sorry, Gare, I don't want to interrupt, but there was something that you had said about like staying in bed. Don't stay in bed. You want to get up and move around. And I think the other piece of that is how we define exercise. And I want to be really clear that exercise doesn't have to be, running or walking or cycling, but getting up and moving. So I think it's really important from a psychological standpoint, obviously, to get out of bed. Even if you're going to watch some TV, don't do it in bed, like, okay, I'll just hang out here. But to get up and make your bed, that's exercise. Right. You're walking around, you're making your bed, you're, fluffing pillows or whatever you're doing. So I think, that's the other piece. Keep your house clean. Keep your apartment, even if you're in a little 2-room apartment, or a 3-room apartment. Keep it clean, keep it tidy, do the dishes. All of that is activity. May not be classified quite as exercise, but it's activity. And I think that that's, part of the whole psychological piece of, getting up, being productive, doing. As you said, Gare, social isolation. If you were used to, getting out every day and walking with someone, excuse me, and you can't do that now, for nothing else, get on the phone. I mean, how often do you call Norm? Because you and Norm, in the summer, you're out there, you're helping each other cut your grass and do your yard work and everything. He helps us, we help him. Well, we can't do that in the winter, but, you call him at least, I think, like every other day, just to check in. How's it going?
Yeah, we talk quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
just
so
checking in for a couple minutes.
Yeah, so that kind of, I think that's really important, because otherwise it's easy to get into that social isolation. So I just wanted to point that out, Gare, on some of the things that you were talking about, just in terms of, exercise or activity, doing your grocery shopping. That's an activity. That's something you build into your schedule, right, Gare? It's like, okay, well,
exactly.
And again, you want to time that so that, so that there aren't a lot of people in the store. I have some seniors that are very conscious about that. And they said, I realize that people who work, my children, their children, people who work, they can't go shopping at the Big Y at, 11 o'clock on a Wednesday morning, that's a good time for me to go because they're not going to be there. And I can get there and get out of the way so that at 5 o'clock when they get out of work, that's when they want to go to the grocery store. So I think it's really helpful to do that, to kind of plan around when is it going to be less crowded? And of course, in the days of, in these days of COVID, we want to do that anyway. But it's just also, it makes it more convenient for everybody. It's a better shopping experience for you. There aren't as many people. And it makes it more convenient for those people who have to work and are stopping on their way to work or on their way home from work. So.
And you may want to, and this, it's gas, but we all live fairly close to supermarkets. You may want to not do one big shop and then
Yes.
hunker down for a week or two.
Yeah.
Don't pick up as many items, but do it more often and spend extra time in the store just walking the aisles.
Great idea.
Being disciplined enough not to look on the shelves.
Yes.
Just keep walking down the aisles for exercise. Stay to the perimeter and buy. Stay off the middle of the shelves and don't buy. But get your exercise. So you may want to do that a little bit more often. So when you do get home, the bags you don't have as many to cart up icy stairs or whatever the case may be, or on black ice sidewalks. And I've already had a couple people that I know take slip and falls because their back stoop was icy and they didn't realize it and they took a header and whatever. So these are things you have to be careful of moving forward into winter. If it looks like it's slippery, it is until proven otherwise,
Assume that it is.
Assume that it is, exactly.
It's one of those, plan for the worst and hope for the best.
Right, exactly.
Right. Okay, let's take a little break. It is 7:48. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses and WCPC cable channel 15. My guest this morning is Dr. Gary Gorman, chiropractor with Strength for Life up in East Hampton. In honor of, again, National Package Protection Day, keeping an eye on all those packages that are being delivered around the holidays, particularly yours and your neighbors, looking out for each other. We're going to listen to the Marvelettes singing Please, Mr. Postman. We'll be right there.
Stop, whoa, yes, wait a minute, Mr. Postman. Wait, Mr. Postman. Please, Mr. Postman, look and see. Oh, yeah. There's a letter in your bag for me. Please, Mr. Postman. Why's it taking such a long time? Oh, yeah. For me to hear from that boy of mine. There must be some word today from my boyfriend so far away. Please, Mr. Postman, look and see if there's a letter for me. I've been standing here waiting, Mr. Postman, so patiently for just a call, just a letter saying he's returning home to me, Mr. Postman. Whoa, yeah. Please, Mr. Postman. Whoa, so many days you passed me by. I see the tears standing in my eyes. You didn't stop to make me feel better by leaving me a card or a letter, Mr. Postman. Whoa, yeah. Please, Mr. Postman. Why don't you check it and see one more time for me? You better wait a minute. Ooh, Mr. Postman. Come on, deliver the letter. The sooner the better. Mr. Postman.
Underwriting support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Greater Westfield Chamber of Commerce, the voice of business for the Greater Westfield communities. Informing, educating, advocating, the Chamber provides opportunities for members to make meaningful connections on local, regional, and state levels. For more information on the Chamber's many events, workshops, and programs, as well as the benefits of membership, visit westfieldbiz.org. The Chamber focuses on the most important economy, yours.
Support for community radio on WSKB is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. On the web at bettsplumbing.com or at 14 Coleman Avenue in Westfield.
Join us every Thursday morning
from 6 until at least 7:30.
Check out the Bobby G and Company Show
right here on WSKB 89.5
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:52. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses and WCPC cable channel 15. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I am on the phone this morning with Dr. Gary Gorman. Yes, we are related. Gary's a chiropractor with Strength for Life in East Hampton. So welcome again, Gare.
Thank you, Tina.
And we're talking this morning about transitioning from the warmer weather to it's not even cooler weather, it's colder weather. And
right.
some of the hiccups that happen with that for all of us, but especially those, I think, who can be a little bit more prone to either inactivity or because of maybe, physical issues that you have, that it's a little bit more difficult to be active, or those that are prone to more depression, which, again, some people just have kind of a propensity to that, and that may be either something that's long-standing or due to maybe a side effect of medication that you're on. So I just want to mention, Garrett, because you had talked a little bit about trying to avoid social isolation. We know that is a trigger for all kinds of health problems. We do run 2 support groups at the senior center. So if either one of these would be helpful to people, please call us. We can give you more information. I run a group called the Side by Side group. It generally meets on the 4th Friday of the month. However, because of the Christmas holiday, this month in December, we'll be meeting on the 17th. We meet for an hour and a half, so we meet from 9 to 10:30 in the morning. And this group is really open to any senior who's a little overwhelmed with the stresses of life. So it's a very eclectic group. Some people are dealing with health problems. They may be dealing with the loss of close family members or friends. They may be dealing with caregiver responsibilities. And all of those things, a lot of times what we find is others in the group who have been in the same boat can be really, can just be very helpful, very supportive, and very, and just good listeners. And just, sometimes just having somebody be able to say, there's no great solution to that, but I know exactly what you're going through because I went through it. And you'd be amazed at how much of a stress reliever that is. And just to be able for someone else to say who's your own age and maybe is also a caregiver or also maybe who had their own health issues or whatever. So again, that's one of our groups. And then the other group that we have is our Viewpoints, which is a support group for those with low vision. Their family members are welcome to attend, so we have a lot of spouses that attend that group as well. That group meets on the 3rd Tuesday of the month from 10 to 11:30 in the morning, and that one is facilitated by Agnes Fleming, our activities aide. Sometimes Agnes will have special speakers or presentations, but I think recently, since we've been back from COVID, she's just kind of been using it as a gathering time for people, because after almost 2 years of not meeting, people didn't even really want speakers or presenters. They just wanted just to be together and to be able to support each other. So I think, Garen, just kind of following up with what you were saying about just being very cognizant about your activity level and your socialization level and your own emotional well-being, I think this really dovetails nicely.
Well, it is. It's time to think about it now. And, we didn't even talk about snow removal and sanding and salting and putting away your summer furniture in the garage or the shed and getting out your snowblower and your snow shovels and things. So that's a whole host of activities that are going on now. So it can be very busy, but you need to be very cautious. Take your time in doing it and don't injure yourself. But be prepared. Are you going to do snow removal, or are you going to have somebody else do that? Or did you contact the person that's going to be doing it? I hear snow plowers are in big demand right now, and the towns are having a difficult time finding people to do the roads. So I don't know what that's all about. Whether it's the constant, lack of employees doing the work, or people don't want to do the work anymore, or what, I don't know. But so, these are things, be proactive, think in advance, don't react and go, oh, boy, there's 8 inches of snow coming tomorrow. What am I going to do?
Yeah, no, and you're right, Garen. I know we've already been getting a lot of phone calls. So we have a lot of seniors that are really taking your advice, Gare. And because we've had a flood of phone calls over the last couple of weeks saying, I want to line up somebody. A lot of my seniors don't want they don't want a snow plow. They want somebody to snow blow their driveway, and they're willing to pay people. So it is, we're trying to create lists, but I think that's really good advice, Gary. And I think the other thing, as you were talking about, Gary, like buttoning things up, putting away the grill for the winter, and and all of those things. All of the things that you talked about with fall and spring, with do it in small increments. Don't think, okay, I'm going to switch everything around in one day. I'm going to work for 6 hours from sun up till sundown, because you won't be able to move the next day. So, bundle it up, and also ask for help. If you need, I go back to Norm Beals, our good neighbor. He's 88. He can't lift all of these things. So, he'll get you to come over, Gary. He'll wait till his son comes over and says, oh, can you move this from here to there? Don't try to take on projects that that are just too much for you at this point, because we don't want you to hurt yourself. That's a recipe for disaster, right, Gare? Then they'll end up in your office.
Right, exactly. And I don't need to be busier. That's okay. So
you're you want to be in like the semi-retirement mode, Gare.
Exactly, just the way I am. Yep.
Okay.
But I am available when people need be. But again, you're right. Let's be proactive. Let's prevent. Being human, we're going to make mistakes, and things are going to happen. I'm going to be seeing slip and falls this winter. It's no way to avoid them, no matter how hard we try. Just be as careful as you can, really.
Yeah. But I think that's the thing, Gare. Be proactive. Think these things through ahead of time. Do I really need, what is the sidewalk like today? Pay attention to your weather reports. That's really important now, folks, because how many times have we heard people say, oh, I didn't realize that it was that icy or slippery or, whatever. It's like, pay attention to those weather reports. Dr. Gary Gorman, I thank you so much for joining us by phone this morning. Our time is up. I see Joe Rouse is waiting in the wings. I don't know if you know this, Gary. Joe has his own show now once a month. First Wednesday of the month. So he's here with his guest waiting in the wings. So, Gary, I see he's like giving me the evil eye, like, Tina, get off. Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Okay. Bye-bye.
It's not
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Barnes & Noble College Bookstore in the Ely Campus Center, offering Westfield State t-shirts, sweatshirts, and gift merchandise, all of your academic needs, and offering textbook materials in new, used, ebook, and rental formats. Available